the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. Football,
Wildcats,
football,
Wildcats,
football,
Wildcats,
football,
I got it.
Wildcats,
football,
Wildcats.
football.
Welcome to the Married with Picks podcast, season 4, episode 7, week 7. All right, Steve. So last week we were on the same side of a lot of games. It didn't work out too well. A lot of upsets last week. I think 2 games we were on different sides of. You actually won, and you did win our bet. So this week we have 6 teams on bye week. We have the Panthers, Bengals, Cowboys, Texans, Jets, and Titans. So only 12 games to talk about today. There's a few good ones, but a lot of these games are kind of crappy if you ask me. So first game on the list is the Browns at the Colts. Browns are favored by 3. Sounds like Deshaun Watson will be giving it a go this week. We saw what the Browns defense did to the 49ers last week. This week they get Gardner Minshew and the Colts. So I think they can get it done again. I got the Browns. Browns, Colts.
Browns, Colts? I know I'm going Colts.
Really?
Yeah.
You trust Gardner Minshew against that defense?
Actually, hold on. You're all over the place. Yeah, I'm taking Colts. So I didn't really listen to anything you said, but Deshaun Watson is still questionable, even though he practiced this week, right?
I think they said today he's going to play.
He's definitely going to play? Okay. So basically what I saw was there's some kind of, I guess, he has a shoulder injury. That's why he's been out. Mm-hmm. So the question has been, why hasn't he been back yet? And it sounds like the answer is that he has a new throwing motion based off probably his injury. So he's probably been trying to perfect it, let's say, because when we have seen video of him in practice this week, I think earlier today, actually, that he had a different throwing motion. So I like Gardner Minshew. I think that, the Colts can play tough. They're a home dog. They're getting 3 points. I think Deshaun's going to need a couple games to get used to throwing this way. So I'm not expecting him to tear the
Well, I'm not expecting Deshaun Watson to necessarily win this game for him, but I think the Browns defense is what's going to win the game.
Yeah, I just think Indy's at home. I think Garner can get this one, getting 3 points. The thing that can't be overlooked is Jonathan Taylor's molding back into shape, and he was the most dynamic running back in the league 2 years ago. So last year, with no quarterback, he struggled, but he got hit in the backfield a lot and still turned plays into positive yardage. So I look for Jonathan Taylor, to get back going behind the line of scrimmage, and hopefully he can get some support for Gardner Minshew, create some space that Garner can get Pittman involved down the field, and I'm taking Indy.
All right. You want to make it a bet?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. I feel a lot of bets coming on here.
Really?
I know we were together on a lot of games last week, but I think this week might be different.
Okay. All right. Next game is the Commanders at the Giants. Commanders are favored by 3 points. This is a division game. I think Daniel Jones is still questionable, but it sounds like it will be Tyrod Taylor at quarterback for the Giants again. Maybe not such a bad thing. Washington has a pretty good run defense, so I'm going to lean in the Commanders' direction, but I'm not going to play this game.
All over the place on my form. So I love the Giants here. This is one of my plays of the week. I got 2 really strong plays. Giants is 1. They're at home getting 3 against Washington. It's a division matchup. I think this is a game that the Giants have to and will win.
Okay. And I should mention that some of these games on the East Coast could have the potential for some rain and
run this one back.
No, if you weren't listening.
No, you kind of liked Washington.
I said
you weren't
exactly. I'm certainly not going to bet it.
I'm taking the Giants all day.
But there could be some heavy wins in some of these games as well. So something to watch out for. Next game is the Falcons at the Bucs. Bucs are favored by 2.5. So I kind of have, and I think last week on the podcast, I might have said I leaned Falcons in that matchup. But after that, I kind of had a thought. The Falcons want to run the ball. They couldn't run the ball last week against the Commanders because the Commanders have a good run defense. Bucs also have a good run defense. Desmond Ridder has been better at home. He's going to be on the road here. So I kind of feel similarly about this game as I did ultimately about their game last week. If they're not able to run the ball, I don't think Atlanta can get it done. I don't particularly like Baker Mayfield, but I got to go with the Bucs here.
All right, going with the Bucs. So it feels like a spot in the schedule where the Bucs should win. You know, they're coming off a couple tight games after starting to 3-0. But the way I look at Atlanta is I feel like they're the best of like the bad teams. Like, not that they're bad, but there's like a lot of mediocrity where you look at Atlanta, you look at Tampa. Would it surprise you to see either of these teams in the playoffs? Probably not. Would you be scared to play either of these teams in the playoffs? No. Probably not, right? So I think Atlanta, so there's that okay, they're decent. They're not scrub teams. They could possibly be in the playoffs, but it's the bottom tier of the playoff teams that won't do any damage. I feel like both of these teams are in that tier. I'm going to take Atlanta. They're getting about 2.5, right? So I think Atlanta's the play here because they're the best of those bad teams. The only thing that that has me hesitant is that they are on the road. They're a dome team, like you said. So I think we'll learn a lot about the theory here. Like, is Atlanta the best of the rest? They can go on the road and beat a team that's similarly in that category, or is it just, hey, stay away from Atlanta on the road because like normal dome teams don't get to perform as well when they go on the road outside. So I think we'll learn a lot this week. I like Atlanta. You want to make this one?
Oh, you're going to make me take Baker Mayfield. All right, those are probably my 2 favorite plays of the week, so I'll do it.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, so Tampa's your favorite play, and who else?
Tampa and the Browns.
And the Browns, okay. Interesting.
All right, next game is the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. Bills are favored by 8.5. I just can't with the Patriots. I've been on them for the last 2 weeks. And last week it was right there. I checked the score. It was 19-17. Patriots have the ball with 2 minutes left in the game. I'm like, it's a cover. And then I go back after the game's over and I look at the score and it's 17-21. And I'm like, how did that happen? And I know it's 2 points. There's only one answer. It was a safety. But how do you do that? How does he take a safety? Mac Jones just is horrible. It's going horribly in New England.
Is it possible that Belichick could get fired this season?
I don't think he gets fired, but maybe he resigns. I don't know.
Maybe they have a sweet gig in the front office for him to take.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I mean,
it's easy. This is a quarterback league, and they have no quarterback.
I will say this.
Bottom line, nobody can throw the ball.
Well, they've played some tough defenses in the last few weeks. I mean, we saw them at least competitive with the Eagles in week 1.
They have lost faith in Mac Jones, the players I'm talking about. So the defense is not playing competitive like that. Look at that Saints game. That was in New England, right? Saints going in there and romped like 31-0.
Yeah,
that's the defense is giving up because they don't have faith.
Yeah, their defense has not played that well. They've got a lot of injuries. They lost Judon. They lost their Christian Gonzalez, the top rookie cornerback that they had. But I mean, this is a division game. I don't know if I like the number. I mean, but I don't know how you can take the Patriots. Based on what we've seen. I mean, at some point, I guess they're going to come back. Bills have a lot of injuries on their defense too. But I got to go Bills. I mean, I just can't. I can't with the Patriots.
The summary, you said it almost. The summary of this game is how the hell can you take the Patriots? I'll take the Bills and give up the points.
All right. Same side of that one. Next game is the Raiders at the Bears. Raiders are favored by -2.5. Jimmy G has been ruled out. It was announced this afternoon that it will be Brian Hoyer. And I keep hearing all these people on the radio talking about like Brian Hoyer as a serviceable quarterback. And somebody even said that like there might be a quarterback competition between Jimmy G and Brian Hoyer. I'm sorry, but my opinion of Brian Hoyer is very different. And I don't even think Brian Hoyer would want the starting quarterback job. Like, I think he's perfectly happy to sit on the bench and collect his paycheck. So on the other side, we have the Bears with Justin Fields out. We have Tyson Bagent. I don't know how you say it. He's Division II Shepherd University, undrafted. I don't know a lot about college football, so I don't know what Division II means, but I've never heard of Shepherd University. I want no part of this game.
Yeah, I don't want any part of this game either.
Okay. Next game is the Lions at the Ravens. Ravens are favored by 3. This should be an interesting game, I think. Probably a true test for both of these teams. Ravens have not really faced a good quarterback yet, and I don't know if I want to throw Jared Goff into that category, but they faced CJ Stroud in his first game, Joe Burrow, obviously not 100%, Gardner Minshew, DTR when he played for the Browns, Kenny Pickett, and last week, Tannehill, and then at least a quarter or so of Malik Willis. They've had some sloppy games, a lot of drop passes, some just bad play. Lions defense is pretty good. Goff on the road has been a thing in the past, and there is potential for rain and wins in this game. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I don't trust the Ravens to cover the 3, and I am a fan of the Lions, so I'm going Lions.
Yeah, I'm on the other side here. Well, we're just coming off the big win against the Titans here, 24-16. They have the back-to-back home games. They lost the week before to the Steelers, and they looked really bad from an offensive perspective. So they seemed like something started to click a little bit.
I don't know that they looked that good last week. I mean, they lost Tannehill. The Titans were still in that game.
And Detroit's coming on. They're pretty scary, but I don't think that this is a team that the Lions can go into on the game in this position on the road and take the win from the Ravens. This is actually, my second best game. Actually tied for first. So I'm not going to rank one above the other. I like Baltimore the most, along with the earlier pick that we gave on the New York Giants. So
all right,
I'm loving Baltimore in this position at home. It's only 3. I think as long as it stays at 3, you can cash the money on Baltimore.
All right. Opposite sides of that one. All right. Next game is the Steelers at the Rams. Rams are favored by 3. We do have the Steelers coming off the bye. I think Tomlin has pretty good stats in that category, but if you listen to the podcast, you have to know by now how I feel about Mike Tomlin. The Steelers have overall good defense, but this year they've really been getting burned in the secondary. So it sets up well for what the Rams want to do. Their running backs are kind of beat up. I don't even know who they're going to start in this game. I think Kerryon Williams is out.
Yeah, he's definitely out.
They've signed Darrell Henderson back, a couple other guys. So I think it sets up well. I worry a little bit about the Pittsburgh defensive line versus the Rams offensive line. I did hear on the radio today that TJ Watt has a heel injury and was out of practice on Thursday. So if he doesn't play, then that would make me feel a lot better about this. But I got to go Rams.
All right, well, if Watt's playing, then I like Pittsburgh. I'm a little concerned if he doesn't play. I know they just got the heel injury on Thursday, but I expect him to play. I like Pittsburgh on the road against the Rams, getting 3 points.
Okay, opposite sides. Somebody's going to be right at least. All right, next game is the Chargers at the Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by -5.5. This is a division game. Herbert and Mahomes have faced each other 5 times. Mahomes has won 4 of the 5. All of those have been close games. Last year, Chiefs won both matchups by 3 points. In 2021, the Chargers lost in overtime by 6. So The Chiefs defense has been playing a little bit better, but their offense has not been the offense that we're used to. So I got to take the points and go with the Chargers. I would hope to see maybe the line move up a little bit and get it at 6.
Yeah, Chargers are coming in third place, 2-3, half game behind the Raiders, who are in second, and the Chiefs obviously sitting on top of the division at 5-1. I think it's just a divisional game. You're getting 5.5 points, even though they're on the road. I like the Chargers as well, so we're on the same side here.
Okay. Were you a little indecisive? You have both teams circled.
Yeah, I actually started to like the Chiefs, and then as I was reviewing the game more, I just, at the end of the day, the division matchup, it's going to be too tight. These guys are going to play tight. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. So regardless, I think I actually like the Chargers to possibly win this game.
Just one other thing, the Chiefs played on Thursday, so they had and then the Chargers played on Monday. So you have them kind of called a mini bye. Chiefs coming in off the mini bye and Chargers coming in on a short week, but that doesn't change my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, typically the only thing that's scary there is Reed's, all-time really good record coming off the bye. So even though it's not an official bye, no one prepares better than Andy Reid with more time than a week.
Yeah. All right.
Take the Chargers, though.
Next game is the Packers at the Broncos. Packers are favored by -1.5. Early in the season, I wasn't sure what to make of the Packers, but I did get to see them on Thursday night last week, and I wasn't impressed with Jordan Love at all. It sounds like Aaron Jones should be back this week. I think that will help their case. They should be able to run the ball against the Broncos. But I don't really want anything to do with this game.
I got a dumb question. Did you skip Seattle and Arizona?
Yeah, I don't even have them on my sheet.
All right, let's talk about this one when we go to Seattle and Arizona.
Okay. All right. You got to pick on Packers, Broncos.
It's 1.5. Denver's at home. They're favored. I'm just not a big fan of Green Bay. So I think I will take, as much as I hate to take Russell Wilson, he's just burned me so much over the last year and a half, but I'm going to take Denver.
Okay.
Small play.
Yeah, I don't really want anything to do with this game. All right, we can back up and go to Seattle, Arizona. I don't have anything written down for this game because I cut it off my list, but
it's a 4:05 start.
Division game.
Yeah.
And I know that Seattle has pretty much dominated the matchup over the last few years. I think Arizona, nobody had high expectations for them coming into the season. I think they were overachieving in the first few weeks, even though they weren't necessarily winning games. They were competitive. They did have the big win against the Cowboys. But in the last few weeks, they've kind of come back down to earth. What's the line on this? 7?
My paper go because you had me all screwed up on lines. It's 7.5.
Okay.
Arizona is obviously it's flashing at 8 too.
And it's in Seattle.
It's probably still going up. It's in Seattle. Seattle is in second place at 3-2 behind the Niners at 5-1. So they're 2 games back, but Arizona's 2 games behind them at 1-5. So it's like you said, the Cardinals look like they had some fight. I think they burned some people who bet against them early in the season, but this is in Seattle. They've had their number. I look for Seattle, who is 3-2 overall, 3-1 in the conference, to take the win by at least 10.
Yeah. So Seattle would be my pick there too. I'd prefer it at 7. But all right. So now we are into Sunday night, the game of the week. Dolphins at the Eagles. Eagles are favored by -2.5. So this should definitely be a good game. As far as injuries, it sounds like Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson were limited participants at practice on Thursday. Darius Slay was a full participant. Dolphins center has missed the last few games, Connor Williams, so I'm not sure if he's going to come back for this one or not. That could be a concern. If these Eagles players don't play, maybe I have a different opinion of this game. I want to take the points with the Dolphins, but I kind of feel like, number one, the Dolphins obviously have been running the ball a lot lately. I'm not sure they're going to be able to do that against the Eagles. Number two, the Dolphins have obviously dominated some games, but their games against the Giants, the Broncos, the Panthers. And the one big matchup that they had was against the Bills, and they lost that game 48-20. I could see a similar situation happening here. So I want to take the Dolphins, but I feel like the right play is probably the Eagles.
Yeah, I was just trying to see. I think Jeff Wilson was going to be back this week, but I haven't seen anything. I don't know if you have definitively that he's going to be playing this week, but you have Mostert obviously with the Dolphins. I like Philadelphia. I think that it's going to be windy, so it's going to be tough to get that long passing game going with the Dolphins, which scares you the most with Tyreek Hill. Obviously, I mean, he's on pace to have the most receiving yards of all time. Obviously, got an extra game in there, so take it with a grain of salt. But I like the Eagles. I think they're at home. They'll win by at least 3, and Sunday night, that fan base is going to be rocking at the Link, and the Dolphins are not very good when they come up to the Northeast, and very much seem to be built like a warm weather team, which doesn't travel well. So we'll see. They went up to Buffalo earlier and got spanked around for their only loss. We'll see what happens in Philadelphia, but this is a big game. Philadelphia does have some injuries, but they should be getting some reinforcements back compared to last week. So again, that will help them stop the run. And if it's too windy for them to throw deep, I think that the medium passing game is much better on the Philadelphia side of the ball with Dallas Goedert at tight end and Smith and A.J. Brown. So we'll take the Birds.
All right, I'm going to take the Birds as my official pick, but I will be rooting for the Dolphins. All right, final game of the week is the 49ers at the Vikings. 49ers are favored by 7. So we saw CMC and Debo both leave the game last week. CMC was at least at practice on Thursday, or today actually. I don't believe Debo was. I don't think it matters so much. I think going up against the Vikings, who again will be without Justin Jefferson, we have the Kirk Cousins in prime time thing. So I think the 49ers can get it done regardless of whether those two guys are out there.
I mean, I like the receivers that they have left with Osborne and the other guy's drawing a blank on his name, but
Addison.
Yeah, Addison. So I think that Minnesota keeps this close at home within a touchdown. I expect San Fran to win, but I think Minnesota starts firing on all cylinders and can keep it close enough to cover the spread.
You're going to take Kirk Cousins in prime time?
I absolutely am.
All right.
I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but I think they can keep it close.
All right. You want to make it a bet?
Sure. Is that 3?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I'm going to write it down.
I like it.
All right. So
the Vikings skull. For the first time in my life, I'm ever going to do the skull. I feel stupid doing it. It's a stupid thing. They should just stop it.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us for week 7. If you're watching, like, subscribe. And we'll see you back here next week for week 8. Peace out.